Consequential.
Consequential.
As you're going to be a consequential man and have Darby's fine position as his lordship's caretaker and Katie O'Gilvy, your wife.
How can a kiss make every cliche suddenly consequential?
Inconsequential fragments, all present at once during his final seconds.
She makes everything seem consequential.
What do you mean consequential?
作为结果的
Consequently.
Consequently.
And consequently, violence against law enforcement.
Consequently, I ate the scout first, and you know he was absolutely right.
Consequently, I've decided to move out of the house.
Consequently, the department uses every possible precaution.
Consequently, the studio chose Walter Lang, fresh from his Oscar-winning Fox musical The King and I, to translate Marchand's play to the screen.
所以
Conservation.
Conservation.
Classic conservation job.
Even the very notion of conservation, environmental issues, those weren't even in the vocabulary until fairly recently, you know?
I have some ideas about conservation.
The conservation center is next to the beach, not too far away.
You're the director of document conservation.
保护
Conservationist.
Conservationist.
A voyeur and a conservationist. Coyote might get sick, and we don't want that, especially with you being such a conservationist.
He's quite the conservationist, you know.
I'm a conservationist.
I thought you were a conservationist.
自然资源保护论者
Conservatism.
Conservatism.
Conservatism is the enemy of the entrepreneur.
Is this what you call compassionate conservatism, boy?
It's in the face of that whole level of conservatism, and it makes you think, you know?
Science is almost defined by its paternalism and conservatism.
You know what conservatism is?
保守
Conservative.
Conservative.
Conservative, but not entirely unfun.
If you want to wear something more conservative, you can borrow mine.
It's a little too conservative for me.
It's like the conservative fucking Twilight Zone and something bad is happening down here, Glenn.
You know, considering the rest of your attire is so conservative.
保守的
Conservatory.
Conservatory.
Didn't you girls say you went to a conservatory?
Gentlemen and ladies, I apologize on behalf of Schaefer Conservatory.
It should be in a conservatory.
She had a conservatory built.
They went to a conservatory.
保存性的温室
Conserve.
Conserve.
Conserve water.
Conserve your ammo.
Remember, conserve oxygen.
The church has to conserve its resources.
We must conserve enough to support the infantry attack.
密件保存
Consider. Consider.
And would you consider pride a fault or a virtue?
I invited JP here to consider the listing.
It's another perspective to consider.
Most critics consider it a failed adaptation.
Please, just consider it my wedding gift.
考虑
Considerable.
Considerable.
And one with whom our revered monarch is on terms of considerable intimacy.
By arranging through your considerable influence in shipping circles to bring through customs uninspected a consignment labeled machine parts.
You've all shown considerable ability in the area of signals analysis.
John Paul Sartre, being and nothingness, modern thought has realized considerable progress by reducing the existent to the series of appearances which manifest it.
Much to tell, having stored considerable, though for many years I did not live alone in the wild.
相当的
Considerably.
Considerably.
But she was dismayed to discover that she herself had ripened considerably.
I too have a new toy, but considerably more practical.
Obviously, this plague doomsday scenario is considerably more compelling when reality supports it with a virulent disease, whether it's the bubonic plague, smallpox, or AIDS.
The item in question is considerably smaller and far more valuable. The real one will look considerably better.
非常的
Considerate. Considerate.
Oh, and we always vote before we ask someone to eat lunch with us because you have to be considerate of the rest of the group.
What must I have done to deserve such a considerate child?
You must admit it was most considerate of me in view of recent events to provide.
You ought to be more considerate of other people's feelings.
We're with Beth from now on, so be considerate.
体贴的
Consideration.
Consideration.
Don't I deserve some consideration?
I feel like, okay, you have to take into consideration the current political climate, like...
Only by calm consideration of our existence can we achieve our purpose to live together.
Take into consideration climate and food chain.
So what you're saying is that the only reason you wouldn't fuck those two models is out of consideration for me.
考虑
Consign.
Consign.
Heavenly Father, we hereby consign to your tender mercies all that remains. I'd like to remind everyone we're here to consign the remains of Millard Frymore. We are gathered here today to consign the mortal remains of Millard Frymore, or whatever his name really was.
We can finally consign my old bird to the scrap heap.
You consign yourself to a misery not unlike a sort of execution.
交付
Consignment.
Consignment.
A lot of things are consignment.
Consignment of empty barrels.
Louise recognized from the consignment store.
Hey everyone, sorry I'm late, but we might have a nice big consignment thanks to this young lady.
委托
Consist.
Consist.
And his life at this period seemed to consist of little more than drafts of letters to lawyers and money brokers.
And what exactly did your job with Treadstone and Paris consist of?
At the present time, my forces consist entirely of Hazlitt's Delaware Militia and Smallwood's Marylanders.
Today's pursuit force will consist of a unit of the National Guard, part of the Tactical Riot Squad of a city police department, and 3 federal marshals.
What's it consist of?
组成
Consistency.
Consistency.
Based on progress and consistency in workouts, I've selected the 4 athletes who will compete in the IG Classic.
Except the consistency of squirrel droppings.
His greatest strength is his consistency of character and his earnest belief that he belongs on the battlefield.
Was this the same consistency he wanted to maintain when they went to Copenhagen for 6 months so he could direct a play?
Young kids just need consistency.
坚硬性
Consistent.
Consistent.
And he was never consistent in his recollections.
How do you respond to rumors that some of the victims have wounds consistent with anti-aircraft rounds?
She just lived her life in a certain way and felt that her death should be consistent with that.
Straight-up lab tests suggest impurities consistent with Asian dope.
Till such a time as I can decide what the future of this company will be, what direction it should take, one that I'm comfortable with and is consistent with the highest good.
一致的
Consolation.
Consolation.
I'll understand if that comes with small consolation.
If it's any consolation, I think you're right.
If it's any consolation, one good thing's come out of it anyway.
They shall find consolation.
Well, if it's any consolation, Carlos is a hands-on, full-time dad.
安慰
Console.
Console.
Be attached to the ship's main console.
Just like the AMRAAM launch pad on the stealth.
Except the nuke will not detonate at impact. That she was obliged to console herself with a husband.
The Ready Face console is designed to engage the user's unconscious mental resources by exploiting the brain's sensitivity to facial patterns.
You know the console better than anybody. You'll be in charge of the console, keeping Riley happy all day long.
安慰控制台
Consolidate.
Consolidate.
Adolf Hitler and the National Socialist Party continue to consolidate gains in depression-ridden Berlin.
For one thing, no man living can consolidate the Irish vote.
The heads of the so-called 5 families in New York to assume and consolidate your nefarious power.
Tonto, boom, consolidate. You don't let them regroup, you don't let them consolidate, and above all, you don't let them rejoin.
巩固
Consolidation.
Consolidation.
Devolves upon the consolidation by merger of the smaller and weaker economic units.
Consolidation of power, no doubt.
Progress is electricity, school consolidation, church remodeling, second farm tractors.
The Communist Party believes that the most pressing political necessity today is the consolidation of the...
There'll be the usual consolidation and economies of scale.
巩固
Consonant.
Consonant.
He doesn't tell me anything I need a consonant.
If the first letter of the message is a consonant, then what follows is the mirrored truth.
Responsibility is consonant with your office.
Well, that's a vowel and that's a consonant.
What's the most common double consonant in the English language?
辅音一致的
Consort.
Consort.
I forbid you to talk to or consort with that duck.
One empress and one secondary consort.
Consort with those who practice the black art.
Our son cannot consort with such a girl.
Psychedelic, long-haired leftists will consort with dope users.
配偶陪伴使结合
Consortium.
Consortium.
Consortium officials had no comment, but sources within the American delegation had disclosed that Dr. Arroway appears to now be the front runner for the machine seat.
It is a consortium of banks and insurance companies who are not buying CCA for themselves, but as agents for somebody else.
Steps. Amid a flurry of accusations and counter-accusations by the nations representing the machine consortium, the president has ordered a special executive inquiry.
The owners are listed as a consortium in the Bahamas.
Well, this is a merger of necessity for Connex, Rebecca, who wants Kaline's fields in Kazakhstan after gas blocks they were pursuing in the Gulf were awarded to a Chinese consortium.
协会
Conspicuous.
Conspicuous.
Conspicuous to what?
Sharon feels too conspicuous since she's popped.
Something inconspicuous!
Still, we could be less conspicuous.
This is one of the less conspicuous.
显著的
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
I believe the charge is conspiracy to kidnapping.
There's a conspiracy with the FBI, basically, to annihilate the power of the black nation.
One count engaging in conspiracy to commit money laundering.
Only here at Ashcliffe because of the case, and you've uncovered a conspiracy so that anything we tell you about who you are, what you've done.
That's what I'm competing with, conspiracy theorists that use the word legit.
同谋
Conspirator.
Conspirator.
And finally, a third conspirator was arrested this morning.
But for heaven's sake, stop playing the conspirator.
Directed his evil practice, shared his profits, protected him from justice, was his lifelong friend and fellow conspirator, Raymond de Villefort.
I shall have El Libre, his daughter, his distinguished conspirator.
On the page is the name of a previously unknown conspirator, Thomas Gates.
同谋者
Conspire.
Conspire.
Let me ask you, is there anyone besides Lee Harvey Oswald who you think didn't conspire to kill the president?
Sounds like they're conspiring to conspire.
Tell me what they deserve who do conspire my death.
The fickle fates, the cosmic grind, conspire to leave our friends behind.
Why wouldn't Miriam conspire with Jewel against me?
阴谋图谋
Constable.
Constable.
Constable?
Detective Sergeant Wainwright and Detective Constable Cartwright.
I'm Constable Ichabod Crane.
Most irregular constable.
We just sat through 3 hours of so-called acting, Constable.
治安官
Constancy.
Constancy.
I believe my only comfort has been the constancy of his affection.
I have very little to offer in the way of constancy.
I would never suppose that true constancy is known only by women.
Till the end of time, my constancy shall prove that I am changed.
You know, it has to do with constancy.
坚定不移
Constant.
Constant.
First, we have to find the constant.
He's a constant.
It's the constant fighting between you and Reef that makes no sense.
Mrs. Riva, constant use of her physical assets rather than her somewhat limited mental capacity suggests that she might not know. The trouble is, she's been moved around so much that I think her only constant has been looking up to you as her role model.
常数不变的
Constantly.
Constantly.
Don't worry, I will make sure that they are together constantly.
He switches stance constantly.
I think most people don't know that actually these cities, wasn't that they were constantly under siege and that everyone died in war.
Why is it when you don't want Gossip Girl to post about you, she does constantly? You don't get along with ordinary criminals either, which is why you are constantly getting in trouble.
不变的
Constellation.
Constellation.
All right, you see that
sort of large W-shaped constellation right there.
And now she's just a constellation in the sky.
How's the constellation coming?
It's in the constellation Lyra.
Near the constellation Lyra.
星座
Consternation.
Consternation.
Boy, there must be real consternation among those gropies.
Consternation, right?
Mr. Shaw's got perfect consternation.
This incident appears to have created some consternation in the Oval Office,
which during the conversation would rise mysteriously in the air to the consternation of the visitors.
惊愕
Constipate.
Constipate.
I give them to you right now, but AA batteries constipate me, okay? Maybe a little.
It'll constipate him.
So have I. I want you to constipate this relationship. Or come and take me.
The meds constipate her so bad that her
I get it.
No.
To constipate our relationship.
使秘结便秘
Constipation.
Constipation.
Bellies and constipation have reached epidemic numbers over the past few hours, with little indication of slowing down.
Both of them. Constipation.
I can help you with the constipation.
I don't like reading about your father's constipation.
Let's see, arrhythma, constipation, dyspepsia,
Well, my industry does $48 billion in revenue.
pharyngitis.
便秘
Constituency.
Constituency.
How important it is to this constituency that at this crucial by-election.
Sorry, I just heard the constituency walls started to collapse as a brick's fallen out.
Stokes got a constituency.
We might offend our constituency.
Your constituency is not even a constituency.
选民
Constituent.
Constituent.
Any constituent in particular, Mrs. Senator?
Do you think you and the boy wonder can separate that mingled dust back into its constituent members?
Nigel, your constituent is accused of betraying her country.
Oh, that shoots enzyme protein peptide bioactive constituent rounds that cause temporary paralysis.
What? The acid constituent is too high, by far.
成分构成的
Constitute.
Constitute.
To house a laundromat owner. A karaoke machine could constitute a business expense.
Failure to answer will constitute non-compliance.
It would constitute a bribe.
A motion has been made and seconded that we immediately constitute ourselves as a bona fide communist party and that we call ourselves the Communist Labor Party of America.
You constitute what is without doubt the most powerful athletic force ever to leave these shores.
构成
Constitution.
Constitution.
And defend the Constitution of the United States.
So take Constitution. Sounds like you studied our wretched Constitution.
To change the Constitution?
We call it the Constitution.
构成
Constitutional.
Constitutional.
You taught constitutional law at Northwestern.
I have a constitutional right to bear arms.
Is it constitutional to bypass the courts?
It's my constitutional right.
Ash, taking a reverse constitutional.
宪法的
Constrain.
Constrain.
Album, and then you constrain your boys.
I conjure and constrain thee, O thou Belial, by all the names aforesaid.
That's to say, such a man as you must constrain himself to bow in the hand.
The devil represents the violent forces of nature that constrain you.
The Roman Church is the apex of the world, spiritual and temporal, and it may constrain with its secular arm any of those who once received the faith and gone astray.
强迫
Constraint.
Constraint.
An oppressive, hideous constraint. As if I were sitting with the small ghost of somebody I had just killed. Bloody constraint.
In which case, what may be at issue is that a certain sexual constraint has been brought about by a fear of a succession of endless pregnancies.
Unfortunately, the effects of such constraint on a man of his enormous energy was more than his mind could endure.
Without notice or constraint.
强制
Constrict.
Constrict.
Cardiovascular vessels will constrict, increasing your blood supply.
Constrict the moisture trapped in those old fibers. Makes it hard to get off.
Every time I constrict, it kills the dogs.
See, conventional wisdom says I should constrict the vessels.
She was wearing a silk blouse, which pleases me, because I like to turn up the air conditioning. To constrict the capillaries.
压缩、收缩。
Constriction.
Constriction.
Valediction, restriction, friction, constriction.
Good constriction.
Slight pupil constriction. Okay, forget constriction.
You've got constriction in the throat and larynx.
压缩。
Construct.
Construct.
But even though this is a totally convincing reality for me in every way, nevertheless, Ogo is actually a construct of my psyche.
Depression is an inability to construct a future, but you have a future. At home with Martin.
He did manage to construct a situation where the two most important men in my life are making decisions about me without me.
No, it's more of an attempt to construct a viable hypothesis to explain the meaning of life.
Your mind is made up of a complex construct of overlays.
构造、构成物。
Construction.
Construction.
Gone in pretty deep to start that construction company.
He didn't tell you about one-night stands at the construction camp.
No man would have knowledge superior to Bryson's regarding my design and construction.
Line Archer never liked her husband's construction business.
This construction thing isn't working.
建筑。
Constructive.
Constructive.
Is that constructive?
It was like I did something constructive with my life or something.
Now, who's got something constructive to say?
This is hardly constructive, David. We need to be a little more constructive here, okay?
建设性的。
Construe.
Construe.
If therefore you wish to construe what my silence betokened, you must construe that I consented, not that I denied.
In other words, they do not construe hiddenness merely or primarily in terms of entities' relations to human beings.
Let not therefore my good friends be grieved, among which number Cassius be you one, nor construe any further my neglect than that poor Brutus with himself at war.
Now, how should I construe that look on your mug, Bullock?
This court must construe according to the law.
解释，做句法分析，直译。